Arsenal are again asking more questions than providing answers at the end of a campaign, and their Champions League quarter-final second leg against Sporting CP on Tuesday, April 15th offers a chance to steady the ship. They were in contention for all four major honours by the middle of March, sitting 9 points clear of Manchester City. But within a 3-week period that includes the international break, they have doubled the number of games they have lost since the start of August from 3 fixtures to 6. First of all, they were defeated to 2-0 in the Carabao Cup final by the Citizens. Then came a 2-1 loss at St Mary's against Championship outfit Southampton in the FA Cup quarter-final. To top it off, Bournemouth beat the Premier League leaders 2-1 at the Emirates Stadium on Saturday, April 12th. And an emphatic 3-0 win for City against Chelsea closed the gap at the top of the table to 6 points. The twists and turns in the English top flight will come to a head at the Etihad Stadium next Sunday, April 20th. But these setbacks are a reminder that the job is not done in Europe, giving their guests some hope of a comeback. Sporting suffered a late 1-0 loss in Lisbon last Tuesday, April 8th, as Kai Havertz plucked the ball out of the air and coolly slotted a strike past Rui Silva in injury time during the second half. It was a particularly bitter blow for a team that had won their previous 17 fixtures on home soil, avoiding a home defeat since August against Porto. However, their spirits should still be high coming to North London. It has been a groundbreaking run for the Primera Liga side that have never reached this stage of the Champions League. Along the way, they have beaten reigning champions Paris Saint-Germain and overturned a 3-0 first-leg deficit against Bodo in the round of 16. Could more history be made? For what it is worth, Sporting eliminated the Gunners from the round of 16 in the Europa League in 2023, and they will want to pile pressure on another run-in for the men of Mikel Arteta in midweek. Arsenal are still reeling from the effects of the international break, with a stretched squad in particular departments of the pitch. Gabriel Magalhaes might have returned from a knock to his knee against Southampton, but Jurrien Timber is still out of action, so Ben White will be expected to feature at right back. Piero Hincapié has been sidelined since he suffered an injury with Ecuador, and Ricardo Calafiori was missing from the match against Bournemouth. Miles Lewis-Skelly would then be called upon at left back. Martin Odegaard hobbled off the field against Sporting, but Eberechi has returned to action on the weekend. His presence will be valuable in the lineup, especially if Bukayo Saka is still unavailable, since Leandro Trossard seems unable to offer the balance he brought in the first half of the season. Sporting should benefit from the return of a suspended player in their midfield. Their only change from the starting 11 in the second leg against Bodo for the quarter-final first leg was enforced. Captain Morten Hjulmand had an accumulation of yellow cards from the round of 16 that forced him to miss the match last week. He's likely to partner with Hidemasa Morita in the double pivot. Jevoni Quenda had been working his way back from a foot injury for a few months, travelling to Cobham to conduct some of the rehab process. He was not involved in the first leg, but after a substitute appearance against Estrela on Saturday, April 12th, he could now feature in North London. There should also be attention paid to the position of right back. While Quenda came back into the fold, Ivan Fresneda left the field at half-time complaining that he had a knock. If he is absent from the starting 11 in midweek, Giorgos Vagianidis is likely to fill in on the right of the backline. Declan Rice will be a player who seeks to lead by example a flagging midfield unit that has lost the brilliant form of Martin Odegaard and seen Martin Zubimendi drop off during the new year. However, another weak point in the team needs to be patched up by a different leader. William Saliba has quietly gone about his business at the back, and his quality can now be taken for granted. Unprompted long balls and a lack of composure in ball possession can contribute to the problems that the Gunners are facing, so the slick work of Saliba should relieve some pressure. He will also have to keep an eye on the activity on the right flank due to the faults from a deputy at the back. Ben White is a weaker defender than Timber, and opponents are targeting that zone. Maxi Araujo was a big problem in Lisbon, and Adrian Truffert was a constant threat for Bournemouth. Luis Suarez will be seeking to equal the record of Victor Gyökeres for 6 strikes by a Sporting player in a single Champions League campaign. If one attacking teammate sparks into life, he's more likely to hit the back of the net against one of the most disciplined defensive units in Europe. Pedro Goncalves has always been a reliable provider of output for the Lions in the Primera Liga, and creative instincts will be required to get the goal that the team needs to stay alive in the tie. The attacking midfielder managed to break Arsenal hearts with a goal from long distance in the Europa League in 2023, and he hopes to mimic the magic from that night in North London.